Part 1. You want women, but you're not ready for the truth. I didn't get into seduction because I was confident. I got into it because I wasn't. I wasn't good looking, I wasn't charismatic, and every time I liked a girl, I'd freeze up or say something stupid. I thought that if I could just learn the techniques, maybe I could finally be the kind of man women want. That was 5 years ago. Since then, I've read the books, I've watched the videos, I've practiced the lines, the eye contact, the body language. I've spent way too many nights in bars, too many mornings with strangers, and way too many hours analyzing texts like they were encrypted military code. And now, I can get women. I can sleep with women. I know what to say, how to say it, and when to walk away so they come chasing. But here's what no one tells you. After a while, it doesn't feel like winning. It just feels like a loop, a performance. And underneath it, you're still asking the same question you started with. Am I enough? This isn't some self-righteous, stop chasing women and find God speech. I'm not here to preach. But I am here to tell you the things I wish someone had told me when I started. The stuff no one talks about in seduction videos. The truths that aren't flashy or sexy, but they're real. If you're going to chase this path, you deserve to know where it really leads. So here it is. 7 things no one tells you about seduction. The first 2? Let's start with those. 1. Women don't fall for you. They fall for the moment. You think she's into you, but more often, she's into how you made her feel in that specific moment. You created a vibe, maybe mystery, maybe tension, maybe validation. And she reacted to that, not to your true self, not to your childhood, your dreams, your character, just to the emotion you triggered in her nervous system. You'll feel amazing when it works. You'll think, she really gets me, or we had a connection. But if you're honest, you'll see it was just a pattern. You acted a certain way, she responded a certain way, and boom, instant attraction. It's chemistry, sure, but it's not personal. That's the drug of seduction. The illusion that someone is seeing you when all they're seeing is the version of you you've carefully crafted. And the more you chase that, the harder it gets to turn it off. You start treating every woman like a test. You start optimizing your personality like it's a sales pitch. You stop being a man and you become a product. Some women will fall for that version of you, but none of them will love the real you. Not because you're unlovable, but because you never showed them who you really are. 2. Being desired is addictive, but it doesn't heal you. There's a rush when a beautiful woman wants you, especially if you've gone most of your life being ignored. I won't lie to you. That feeling is powerful. You feel seen, validated, worthy. But here's the catch. That feeling fades fast, and once it's gone, you chase it again. Another woman, another number, another night. The attention becomes a drug, and your sense of worth starts depending on how much of it you get. You'll start measuring yourself in glances, in DMs, in how long it takes to get a kiss. You won't even realize you're doing it, but little by little, the guy who used to wonder, am I good enough, becomes the guy who constantly needs proof. It's still insecurity. It just has better clothes now. At first, you'll think you're winning. People will say you've changed. You'll walk taller, dress better, move with confidence. But deep down, there's a part of you that knows this isn't real confidence. This is armor. And armor gets heavy. Because one day, you'll meet a woman who doesn't play the game, who sees through the tactics. And when that happens, you won't know how to be with her. You'll try to impress, to spark attraction, but it won't land. Because what she's looking for can't be faked. And that's when it hits you. You've built yourself into someone women desire, but not someone they trust. Not someone they want to build with. You've mastered attention, but you're still starving for connection. I don't regret the years I spent learning this stuff, but I wish I'd gone into it with a clearer picture of what I was really chasing. If you're going down this path, I won't stop you. Just don't lie to yourself about what it costs, or what it's really giving you. Next, I'll tell you about the most dangerous illusion in seduction: control. and why chasing it will always leave you feeling powerless. Part 2. The illusion of control will destroy you. In the early stages of learning seduction, control feels like everything. You study dynamics. You break down human behavior like it's a math problem. You analyze power, polarity, eye contact, shit tests, timing. You start to believe that if you just do X, you'll get Y. Say this, she'll feel that. Pause here, she'll chase. Pull back, she'll fall in love. And for a while it works. Or it seems to. But eventually, something happens. You meet a woman who doesn't respond the way you expect. Or she does at first, and then just disappears. No reason, no logic, no chance to fix it. And suddenly, the illusion cracks. You realize something terrifying. No matter how much you learn, how much you plan, how perfectly you execute the game, you can't control another human being. Attraction isn't a science. Emotions aren't a flowchart. You can only influence. And influence is fragile. The moment you try to dominate the outcome, you start to lose yourself. You become anxious, obsessive, constantly strategizing. You reread messages 10 times before sending. You hesitate before saying what you actually feel. You filter yourself into something optimal. In trying to control her response, you give up control over yourself. And worse, when it doesn't work, you blame yourself. You think, I must have messed up. I shouldn't have double texted. I didn't wait long enough. I smiled too early. I lost frame. You spiral into this toxic self-analysis, as if women were code and you just forgot a semicolon. But women aren't code. They're people. And here's the real punch in the gut. The more control you chase, the more repelling you become. Because women can feel it. They might not be able to articulate it, but they sense the tension in your eyes, the fakeness in your laugh, the pressure in your presence. You become less attractive. Not because you're bad at game, but because you're not free. You think seduction is about being powerful. But real power has nothing to prove. 3. The game creates a false identity. And you'll forget who you were. When you first start learning seduction, you're a guy trying to improve himself. But over time, something shifts. You stop trying to grow and start trying to perform. You build a character, smooth, confident, mysterious. He knows what to say, when to smirk, when to walk away. Women respond to him. Men envy him. You get addicted to being him. But he's not you. He doesn't cry. He doesn't admit fear. He never gets rejected, only learns. He's emotionally bulletproof, right? And then one night, alone, you realize you don't know how to stop being him. You want to tell someone how lonely you feel, how hollow all this success is becoming, but you don't know how to break character. You've worn the mask so long, it's fused with your skin. And that's when the identity crisis begins. You're no longer sure what's real. Did she like me? Or the version of me I presented? Do I even know how to be myself anymore? Or did I lose him somewhere between the cold reads and the push-pull dynamics? This is one of the darkest parts of the journey, and no one talks about it. Because it doesn't look cool. You can't post about it. You can't turn it into a catchy YouTube thumbnail. But it's real. And it's coming. If you keep chasing image over essence. The scariest part of seduction isn't rejection. It's realizing you've rejected yourself to become someone women like. 4. Emotional disconnection becomes a lifestyle. And that will bleed into everything. When you're constantly filtering your words, managing your frame, and performing confidence, you don't have time for feelings. Vulnerability becomes a liability. Attachment becomes weakness. So you learn to shut it off. You tell yourself it's stoic, that you're being non-reactive. But the truth is, you're emotionally disconnecting, not just from women, but from life. You stop being present. Conversations feel like transactions. Sex becomes mechanical. Eye contact is just a tool now, not a shared experience. And eventually, this disconnection spreads to your friendships, your family, your passions. You become numb, not because life is boring, but because you've trained yourself not to feel. You've mastered attraction at the cost of authenticity. People start describing you as cool, mysterious, hard to read. But they never say warm, safe, or real. And a part of you, the part that used to feel love deeply, that used to get excited about music or nature or laughter, starts to disappear. You'll say you're just focused, just on your grind. But you know the truth. You turned yourself into a fortress, and now you're alone in it. I'm not saying every guy who learns seduction ends up like this, but I am saying that if you're not careful, this path can cost you more than it gives. The gains feel exciting at first, but the bill always comes, and it's steep. In the next part, I'll talk about something even more personal: how seduction changes the way you see women, and not for the better, and how I had to unlearn years of toxic perception just to see them as human again. Part 3. Seduction Warps. How you see women. At first, I thought I was getting better with women, but what I was actually getting better at was dehumanizing them, not in a cruel, obvious way. I didn't hate women, I didn't disrespect them. But the more I got into seduction, the more I stopped seeing women as people, and started seeing them as puzzles, tests, targets, numbers. Something to conquer, something to validate me. She wasn't Sarah anymore. She was the girl at the bar, or the HB8 with IOIs, or the one who flaked. A variable in my game, a symbol in my story. And it changes you. You start paying attention to women for the wrong reasons. You stop noticing their personalities, their quirks, their warmth, and you start focusing on micro signals: the way they stand, how they look at you, their tone of voice. Everything becomes data. Every interaction becomes a performance. And you become cold, calculating, like a scientist studying mice in a lab. The irony is, you're chasing connection, but you're building walls to get there. I used to walk into a room and ask, is there someone I'd want to talk to? Then it became, is there someone I can game? It was subtle, but over time, that lens shifted everything. I wasn't seeking real relationships. I was hunting reactions. And here's the worst part. The more I did it, the more I began to believe that women were all the same. I started to believe they were shallow, easily manipulated, that they wanted to be tricked, that they only respected guys who didn't respect them, that they liked being treated hot and cold. And for a while, that seemed true, because the women I was attracting responded to those patterns. But here's what I didn't realize. I was creating that dynamic. I was selecting for it. The way I approached women, the way I acted, the way I filtered out any woman who wasn't instantly reactive to game, I was drawing in exactly the kind of relationships I now resented. And worse, I started believing that was all there was. That real intimacy didn't exist. That love was a scam. That every woman just wanted status, or money, or attention, or a high-value guy she could brag about. I told myself I was being red-pilled, realistic, unplugged. But in truth, I was hurt. I was tired. And I was jaded. Seduction didn't just warp how I saw women. It warped how I saw humanity. It took years to start unlearning that. To realize that I was only seeing a narrow slice of the female experience, the slice you get when you approach everything with an agenda. When you're always performing, always selling. And the crazy thing is, when I finally started being honest, vulnerable, real, different women showed up. Women I never would have met before, because I was too busy playing a role to even notice them. 5. The cost of being high value is that you always feel replaceable. Another thing no one tells you about seduction culture? It's exhausting. You're constantly trying to be high value, always upgrading. Your appearance, your status, your photos, your lifestyle. You never feel like you've arrived, because the moment you stop improving, someone else passes you. And that pressure? It never stops. You get into great shape. Now you need better style. You get style. Now you need a better apartment, then a better car, then a more alpha vibe, then more followers, then a cooler social circle, then what? No matter how much you level up, it's never enough. Because deep down, the mindset that seduction gave you is, I am only valuable if I perform value. You become a walking brand, a product, and every woman becomes a market test. Did she swipe? Did she laugh? Did she sleep with me? That means my product is working. If not, time to optimize. You stop being a man with depth and start being a man with stats, and it messes with your head. You'll find yourself in a room with a woman who clearly likes you, clearly wants you, but part of you is still asking, yeah, but does she like me enough? Is she better than the last one? Am I settling? You can't enjoy the moment because you're always benchmarking it. And the saddest part is, if she leaves, if she ghosts, if she chooses someone else, it doesn't just hurt. It confirms your fear. See, I wasn't valuable enough. Got to improve. Got to evolve. Got to get better. But that voice never stops, and it never lets you rest. 6. What you chase is what you become. This one is hard to swallow. When I first started, I thought I was just learning skills, social calibration, emotional intelligence, confidence. But what I didn't realize was this: you become what you repeat. If you spend years chasing attention, you become addicted to it. If you spend years manipulating people's emotions, you become numb to your own. If you spend years trying to be unattached, in control, above it all, you become a man who doesn't know how to feel. And that bleeds into everything. Your friendships feel shallow. Your hobbies lose spark. Your goals get twisted. No longer about purpose or passion, but optics. Will this make me look high status? Will this increase my value? Everything becomes a mirror, and all you see is performance. Eventually, you look in the mirror and you're not sure who's looking back. He's charming, he's polished, but he's empty. And it hits you. The guy you used to be, the one with big dreams, with raw edges, with actual feeling, he's gone. And all that's left is the shell you built to attract women who never even knew your name. Part 4. What you were looking for was never in her. This is the lesson that broke me, and also the one that rebuilt me. For years, I thought I wanted women. I thought I wanted sex. I thought I wanted affection, validation, attention. I thought being desired would heal something inside me, that being wanted by many would finally make me feel wanted by myself. But the more I got what I wanted, the emptier I felt. It was like drinking salt water. Each new connection gave me a rush, then left me hollow. Each victory felt good for a moment, and then vanished. I kept chasing, kept improving, kept proving, and no matter how many women liked me, I still didn't like myself. That's when it hit me. I wasn't chasing women. I was chasing relief. Relief from the feeling that I wasn't enough, that I didn't matter unless someone else said I did, that I was invisible unless I impressed, performed, seduced. Women weren't the goal. They were the band-aid, a beautiful, intoxicating, temporary cure for a deep and private ache. And the truth is, that ache was never hers to fix. It was mine. All those years I spent learning how to attract women, I should have been learning how to forgive myself, how to respect myself, how to love the man I was before I felt like I had to become someone else. Because that's the sick joke of this whole journey. You become a man other people admire, and you're still not free. You're just trapped in a more impressive cage. 7. Real confidence is quiet, because it has nothing to prove. When you start learning seduction, they tell you to fake it till you make it. Act confident, and eventually you'll become confident. And for a while, that seems true. You dress better. You speak louder. You make more eye contact. You push yourself into uncomfortable situations and come out stronger. You feel the growth. You feel the wins. But here's what nobody explains. Most of that confidence is still external, still dependent. It relies on results, on approval, on reactions, on proof. Real confidence, the kind that doesn't shake when someone ghosts you, The kind that doesn't crumble when you get rejected comes from something else, something deeper. It comes from knowing that your worth is not on trial, that nothing is at stake, that you can be ignored and still feel seen, that you can be alone and still feel whole. Real confidence is quiet, subtle, unimpressive from the outside. It's the calm presence of a man who doesn't need to convince anyone of anything, not even himself. You don't learn that in seduction books. You learn it when the game collapses, and all that's left is the truth. Your truth. Without filters, without poses, without pickup lines. Just you. 8. There is a way out, but it requires grieving who you pretended to be. I won't lie to you. Leaving the seduction mindset is hard because it works on some level. It gives you tools. It gives you control. It gives you results. Walking away feels like giving up power, like going back to being that awkward, insecure version of yourself you swore you'd never be again. But here's the thing. You're not that guy anymore. You have grown. You have changed. You've built presence, learned social fluency, challenged your fears. Those parts of the journey are real. You don't have to throw them away. What you do have to throw away is the lie. The lie that you're only valuable if you win. The lie that women are trophies. The lie that love is a formula. The lie that emotions are weakness. The lie that you have to be a high-value man in every room just to be seen. That's not strength. That's survival. And survival is not living. Leaving that identity behind feels like death. It feels like failure. But it's actually freedom. You stop chasing. You start choosing. You let go of the illusion that the next woman, the next lay, the next number will fix the hole in your soul. And you finally sit with it, face it, heal it. And that's when you realize something beautiful. The version of you who needed all this. He was never broken. He was just afraid, just lonely, just trying. And he deserves love too. Final words. I spent 5 years learning how to seduce women. I've spent the last few learning how to love myself. If you're in the middle of that first path, I get it. I don't judge you. There's wisdom in the journey, but don't stay there too long. Don't lose yourself in the mask. Don't build an identity on a foundation of other people's attention. You don't need to become the man all women want. You need to become the man you would want to be, even if no one else is watching. Because that man, he doesn't chase love. He becomes it.